this week's best MMA bets. We're talking UFC London and Bellator 283. We're going to go through the locks, dogs, props, and the parlays for both cards. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. Let's start it off with the locks. And we're going to talk UFC first, and then we'll jump over to Bellator. Not every one of these locks is going to have great value lines, but the first one is going to be Jai Herbert. I think he's going to stop Kyle Nelson. The line for him is minus 256. Nelson's the plus 241 dog. Looking at Jai Herbert by KO, which is the official pick, just plus 100. So not great money there. I do think it's going under 2.5 rounds at minus 195. Herbert could definitely be a heavy attack money line or a parlay piece. I expect him to win impressive fashion in London over Kyle Nelson. I'm banking on KO. Next one is Mark Jacasey, minus 325 over Damir Hadzovic. I do definitely expect him to win this fight. I expect on the cards. The over is around the minus 125, minus 120 range. I actually think the over is a pretty solid play. Jacasey's not really a good money line attack, maybe more of a wide parlay. Jacasey by decisions plus 175. I do think this fight goes all three, and I think Jacasey does take it on the cards. I like him a lot as one of the locks this week for UFC London. Next lock, and I'm sorry for these early ones because, geez, the lines are hideous. Molly McCann, I think she's going to win. Minus 375. Hannah Goldie, plus 336. I think Molly McCann takes her on the cards, too. I think we're going distance on a fair amount of these fights this weekend. Minus 255. McCann for over 2.5. Molly McCann money line, though, is almost unplayable. It's in the minus 400, even up to minus 500 range at some spots. McCann by decisions, minus 125. That's probably how she does it. I think they're giving her, I don't want to say a give me fight, but they're giving her a very winnable fight against an opponent who has some flaws, and Molly McCann should definitely be dominant in this matchup. But I do expect it to go all the way. I say we're going the full distance here with this matchup. Next fight that I really feel like deserves lock status, you have to put it on Muhammad Mokaev, minus 437. There's some really wide early locks on this card. Charles Johnson, the plus 395 underdog. I like Mokaev to win by submission. Looking at this line now, Mokaev by sub is plus 160. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think we're going under 2.5 rounds, plus 110 best value. I like Mokaev to win, but he's an ugly money line play. There's really low value. Like, there's some big ass favorites, but we also got some really nice underdogs, which I like about this very widespread card here with UFC London. But let's keep running through some of the locks, even if the value isn't fantastic. Mason Jones, the next one. I think he takes Ludovic Klein out, rather to the cards. I think he wins a decision. Minus 313 range for Mason Jones. Ludovic plus 295. It seems like we have a limited prop selection so far. No, the slate is out. We're going over 2.5, plus 115. Over 1.5, I like more at minus 160. I think that's a great play, over 1.5. I think Mason Jones takes out Klein, or rather takes him on the cards. I think he takes the rounds from him. I'm thinking 2 rounds to 1, maybe 3-0. Jones with the smothering pressure attack. Plus 200. Jones by decision also, who I do think gets it done. I got quality confidence in the Mason Jones side. The next of the locks. This one might be contentious. Some might not like it, but I think Paddy Pimblett is a near sure thing to knock Jordan Levitt out, especially he's been talking he wants to strike. Levitt plus 221. Paddy Pimblett should be able to touch him up on the feet and sleep him. Let's see if we go Pimblett by KO. What's this line? Plus 255. Pimblett by sub plus 255. Same line. Over a round and a half is minus 135, but under 2.5 is big plus. Plus 160, plus 150. Trey Ogden almost tapped out Jordan Levitt too. Let's not forget about it. I think Paddy Pimblett's got a lot slicker of the submission game, though Levitt's not easy to deal with on the ground. His stand-up's definitely awkward, and I see Pimblett exploiting holes on the feet. I'm going Paddy Pimblett by knockout. I do think he's a lock, guys. I'm considering him one. some more value plays on the way, but we are going to jump towards the Bellator lock section to talk about some matchups that I think are considerable locks. Let's jump to Bellator real quick and list out. I believe we got 2 of them here. First one is Usman Nurmagomedov. Another unplayable, minus 549, but if you're going for a wide shot parlay, maybe you do it. But Chris Gonzalez isn't an easy out. I do think we're going over a round and a half, minus 135, minus 110 best value. Gonzalez I see lasting. I just see Usman Nurmagomedov taking him out. Let's see. How does he get it done? I could see a late stoppage or a decision for Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov by decision, plus 275. For him to win by KO, TKO is plus 125. I'm not sleeping on Gonzalez's durability. He's very athletic. He's got a wrestling base. I'm thinking he lasts. I'm going Usman Nurmagomedov, win by decision. Isn't a terrible play, but it's really not a great one either. And then the next one, I think Gadzi Rabanadov should be a near lock against Bobby King. I think Gadzi should be able to dominate the fight. I'm thinking he gets a stoppage. It's minus 311 for the money line. But Bobby King's not easy to put out. Let's see. Rabanadov inside distance is plus 210. I like that plus 210 value. Under 2.5 is plus 170. The books seem to think it's going to go the full 3, but I could see Gadzi getting it done here. I consider him a Bellator lock and high confidence against the older Bobby King. I feel like those are the locks that I'm really feeling this week for both cards. I want to jump to the dog section and let's get the value side of things started. Make sure you guys smash that like button as we talk about the underdogs. Dog number 1, I'm going Chris Curtis. He's a very slight underdog, plus 101, but it is more of a pick'ems fight. But you can find him at plus money. I'm considering him a dog. Chris Curtis to win. I'm going to say he gets he's going to get a decision, but I do think he does some damage with the hands. I'd love to say Curtis by KO, but Hermansson's not easy to put out. Curtis to win by decision, plus 340. Curtis by KO, TKO, plus 255. Over a round and a half, minus 205. I like Chris Curtis on the money line assault. I think he's a good close money play. We're going Chris Curtis for the win. Hand raise. He's going to beat Jack Hermansson here and pull it off on short notice. Hermansson's got the stifling ground game, but I think the takedown defense, explosiveness, and power of Chris Curtis is a big difference maker, and I am pretty confident on him. Very valuable play. Next of the underdogs. Call me crazy on this one, but I'm riding with Alexander Gustafsson to outpoint Nikita Krylov. If he is on his game, I see him winning, plus 164. Krylov minus 178. I expect Gus to be back. I'm not going to say 100% of what he once was, but still a very dangerous fight. Gustafsson to win by decision, plus 420. Maybe that's the line. That's the official pick, is Gustafsson by decision. Over 2.5, plus 110. I expect Gus to be able to pick Krylov apart a bit from range, but I do have a feeling that he is put against the cage a bit and controlled. I'm kind of seeing 2 rounds to 1. We'll see how Gustafsson starts out. It's been a long layoff. The last fight was at 240 pounds up at heavyweight, but I expect him to beat Krylov. The striking difference definitely favors Gus. I mean, if he's still got what's left in the tank, I think he beats a Nikita Krylov. So we're going with Gustafsson as an underdog, but of course, a little bit of intuition needed / hope on Gus coming in looking, near top line of what he's been capable of in the past. Next, dog. Makwan Amirkhani plus 186, Jonathan Pierce minus 194. I think Amirkhani can catch a neck in this fight. I'm going Amirkhani by submission. I'm thinking maybe a guillotine choke. Amirkhani by sub, plus 375. I think that's his most likely method of victory. I feel like he's going to catch Jonathan Pierce shooting with the neck out. Pierce, very wrestling heavy game. Amirkhani, wrestler, grappler, good submission skill set, slicker on the floor. Pierce definitely heavy on top though. But we're riding with Makwan Amirkhani to get the sub. I'm predicting him to win this bout. If it does start going later though, Amirkhani notorious for a bit of gas issues. We'll see. But I don't think that Jonathan Pierce finishes him off. I'm going Makwan Amirkhani win by submission as an upset. Underdog this week that I do believe comes through. The next of the dogs. I feel like Victoria Leonardo is very live against Mandy Bohm. I think Bohm has not fought anybody. Plus 115 Leonardo, minus 122 for Bohm. I like Leonardo to win a decision. Leonardo by decision, plus 240. Yeah, Leonardo by decision is a good line. I expect her to beat Boom on the cards. Pressure, high pace. Boom, decent from range, but she's going to get overwhelmed by Leonardo's pressure, bullying, volume, style attack. I like Victoria Leonardo to win this one as a dog. Let's see. The final few dogs, I guess really the big final one here for the UFC. Then we will jump over to Bellator. Paul Craig win submission over Volkan Oezdemir. You have to ride with that. Paul Craig is plus 140 as a dog. Volkan minus 146 is the favorite. Craig to win by submission is plus 220. I like Paul Craig by sub. I predict him by submission, and I'm riding with that bet too. I think it's a good attack. Plus 220, and I also think that Paul Craig's a great underdog play. Volkan's very dangerous on the feet, but when it hits the mat, and I believe it will, Paul Craig's going to try to get it there, and I think he'll be successful. I think Volkan's in a bit of trouble, and if Paul Craig can get any bit of positioning on the floor, you know submission attempts come from all angles. He's the most dangerous grappler, I would say from the bottom at the least, at 205 pounds in the UFC right now. Paul Craig plus 140, win by submission over Volkan Oezdemir. Those are the real dogs that I wanted to talk about, but this next matchup I'll quickly bring up as a final UFC dog is if you wanted to touch a Charles Rosa play at plus 450. I'm not going to say he's going to win. I think Nathaniel Wood probably takes him on the cards, but plus 450 is a great value line. And I mean, he's the naturally bigger guy. And what if he upsets Wood? You're getting a great value because he doesn't deserve to be that big of a dog. Let's jump over to Bellator. There are two dogs that I'm sniping out in Bellator. I like Douglas Lima, plus 165, and I also like Lorenz Larkin, plus 133. More confidence towards Lima winning, especially over 5 rounds against Jason Jackson. I like a money line, plus 165. I don't really care about any of the props on this fight. I think your best bet is to play Lima money line. I expect Lima, though, to win the bout by a decision, which is plus 410. But I think the money, smart money, plus 165, dog assault on Lima to win. Then for Lorenz Larkin, he's plus 133 as a dog. Mukhmed Berkmanov has a very real chance of beating him. But I still am picking him on the cards. I say he gets a decision. Larkin by decision, plus 255. I think we're going over 1.5 at minus 275. Larkin, not a guy that gets finished. I think we might even be going over 2.5, minus 150. I'm picking Larkin to steal it on the cards, but it's going to be very dependent on takedown defense and how he deals with the tricky, rangy southpaw of Mukhmed Berkmanov. We're riding with Lorenz plus money, but it is a riskier dog attack if you're looking for one, as opposed to playing Douglas Lima and Bellator at the top, which I think is a pretty quality underdog. I do want to talk a little bit about the props for the UFC, so we'll jump to this section. We'll talk about some little etc., a little extra juice, a little extra action. For the main event, Aspinall Blades. I don't think Aspinall is a bad value bet. I think he's decent on the money line. If you also look towards fight ends inside distance, it's minus 200. I expect that to come through. I feel like we're going under 4.5. It's more like minus 215. So you're better off playing inside distance at better value, depending where you're playing at. Looking towards Aspinall KO, which is my official prediction for this one, plus 190 for that one. But I think he's a better money line attack. Maybe you play him by KO, but what if he pulled off a sub? Somehow got Blades hurt and then club and subbed him. Let's see what that sub line's looking like. Aspinall by sub is plus 650. That's a wide line. We are riding with Tom Aspinall to win, and I think he's a good value bet, and there's some value props for you guys. The next one that I want to mention, we somewhat mentioned it with dogs, it's Rosa Wood. I want to dig into the props on this matchup and talk about something that I think could have some value here. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 210, minus 200, best value actually. I think that's a great play. I think we are going that over, and I feel like we're going to see Nathaniel Wood probably take it on the cards, but Charles Rosa be a lot more live than a plus 450 dog would look like on paper. Wood by decision, minus 125. Rosa by decision. What's that sitting at? Plus 850. Wow. But he's a huge dog. So understandable. Huge on the prop as well. I want to jump to Bellator as well and quickly glance this fight here, Romero Cotton, Dalton Rosta. I don't love a bet on either side, but I think over 1.5 at -170 is a smart money play. I think that Romero Cotton is going to go probably the full 3 with Rosta. I'm picking Rosta to win on the cards, but I think the line is way too wide to money line assaulted on Rosta because Cotton is still a difficult fight. And over 1.5 -170, I will be playing that. So the over 1.5 rounds, Rosta Cotton, smart money play. Those are the props that I really felt like were needed to be brought up, a little extra juice on it. I want to jump towards the parlays and let's see what we can do this week. Of course, I want to keep it on the safer side to start things out. I'm very confident on Jai Herbert this week. I think he's a good first addition to the parlay. I like Mason Jones a lot over Ludovic Klein. And I also like Chris Curtis at the top. If you're looking for a little more value, Herbert, Jones, and then Curtis, it brings you to plus 243. Of course, some people may be against me on the Chris Curtis side, but I feel like he's going to take it, man. I just see him matching up really well. Add in Paul Craig for plus money. You got plus 700 range now. We're getting into a riskier parlay with the dog, but I think Paul Craig is the guy to come through if you're looking for a dog. If you want to add in more value still, you want to keep it on the value style, you could add in Tom Aspinall, plus 1328, plus 1900 if you had Pimblet. So this is a wild play, but I think it's one that comes through. Herbert, Jones, Curtis, Craig, Aspinall, Pimblet, 6-fighter play, plus 1911. This right here is the lottery ticket parlay. I do have safer play on the way that I want to bring up next. And we will also do a crossover play with Bellator too. Let's see. This one, if we want big favorite Mokaev, you want Mason Jones. Where's he at? You want to add in our guy. Where is he? Our girl, Molly McCann, Meatball, minus 102. Then if you said, I feel like Jacasey wins, plus 158, decent little like wide shot play. I don't love playing all these big favorites. I think something could definitely go wrong with this one, but it was still worth a mention. Craig brings you to plus 500 if you like him as a dog. If you're going straight value, you want like 3 guys that I believe come through in the values on it. It's going to be Aspinall, Curtis, Paul Craig, plus 712. 3 fighters that I believe are going to cash. And give you some quality plus 947 if you got Mason Jones in there as well. I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's see what Mokaev gives. Plus 892. It adds a little 100, and I think Mokaev wins as well. Jai Herbert on the slate, plus 1,000 if you added him. There's some ways to play it. I do want to cross some things over with Bellator. I don't necessarily love all the Bellator picks, but I do think value style, it's not a bad idea to maybe have, 1 or 2 of them. All right, so for Bellator, the line on Usman is just hideous here. But if you went for the dog, Douglas Lima, and you match it up with Paul Craig as a dog, you got nearly plus 500 cashing on 2 dogs. You added in the Action Man, plus 1,000. We're getting a little risky, though. I don't like getting this risky here. We'll go Mokaev. We'll go... Where's he at? Mason Jones, plus 845. Craig, Lima, Jones, Mokaev. But I want to take out the dog attack, actually, on Douglas real quick. And if we had Usman in, plus 331 with Craig, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think Davion Franklin should win the fight, plus 519. Didn't include him as a true lock, but I'm pretty confident that he beats Marcelo Golm. Just with lower level heavyweights, you have to be a little bit cautious. But if you're looking to hit on like the big parlays, this is kind of how we can do it. I'm really trying to turn a lottery ticket style play with this one. I'm not telling you guys fucking throw down heavy and assault this thing with high confidence. I think this is a true Hail Mary. Plus 5,350. Craig, Mokaev, Usman Nurmagomedov, Davion Franklin, Douglas Lima, Mason Jones, Tom Aspinall, Chris Curtis. That is the wild man parlay of the week that I was looking to come up with there. I think that's the craziest one you could do. Be cautious with your parlays, though. 2-3 fighters max if you're really looking for maximal profit. If you're looking to just have some fun, obviously jump in, do the plus 5,000 and throw a few dollars at it. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's best MMA bets. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you don't have anything to say, but you just enjoy the content, drop a W in the chat for your boy. Much love to everybody. I appreciate you guys. Got content dropping all week. Keep it locked in. Tomorrow, Moneyline, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Earlier time slot, something to note, so stick around for it. It'll be Thursday. Should be a lot of fun with my guy, Mike Finch. Much love, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.